All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Village Board meeting for Monday, December 1st, 2025. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Lapatianis?
Here.
Trustee Andalay?
Here.
Trustee Wilbrandt?
Here.
Trustee Price?
Here.
Trustee Eska?
Here.
Trustee Yasko, could you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to tonight's agenda as drafted? Seeing no motion to change, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Alapajanis. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to President's Report, we are talking about the public hearing, so I would entertain a motion to recess from regular session and enter the 2025 tax levy public hearing.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Price. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Eska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapatianis?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrandt?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Joe, you want to kick things off?
Yeah, so we've presented to the board 4 options regarding this year's public tax levy. The board at its last meeting gave direction to publish at the highest of the 4 at 9%. That was in the paper, I think, on the 21st. The increase of the levy goes from 6.9 to 7.52 million dollars. Total increase of $621,120. The request does include pension increases for police and fire, and also changes the methodology from PCU to EAN, which is the more conservative of the two. The intention is to utilize that moving forward. We are expecting a nearly 10% increase in this year's EAV increase again. And so the recommendation per the board selection at $7.5 million results in the village's tax rate remaining at 1.87 projected for next year. We've provided a great deal of information regarding surrounding communities and what is being done elsewhere based on either known utility increases, tax levies, or refuse charges. We have also completed an updated municipal comparison, which shows that based on all the information that we have to date, that the village's per day household would go from 3rd lowest to 2nd lowest under this proposal, and just slightly behind the village of Algonquin for the lowest. So,
Okay, comments or questions from the board? Comments or questions from anyone in the audience?
How much, in that number was were there 5 head count in that number? 1 police in the 9%? Is it the extra police, the extra fire, the 3 finance positions?
those were just illustrative of the costs of those positions as they related to the tax levy and the number increase, to give you an understanding of what some of the costs for those positions, to give you that perspective. So by no means am I implying that if you go to 6.9 or the 9%, are all 5 of those positions going to be included in this budget? But without it, you're really looking at not fulfilling those obligations. So without the increase, really trying to fill those 5 positions on a full-time basis is probably not viable.
So if I were to fill the finance positions, which I think we need to provide the director support for, what would it be? It wouldn't be 9, it would be like 6?
Oh, in terms of percentage increase, I don't know. We've just, the four options that were presented to you were based on, I think, 1.6, 1.9, 4.8, and 9% increases, and gave you the relative increases, numbers associated with those. And I think they were, excuse me, 621,000 at 9, 334,000 for the 4.85 position, 132 for the 1.9, and 115 for option number 1.
In that 4.8, does that include the 3 finance positions?
The scenarios we gave you were 334, so at 334, just adding those 3 positions was going to add $433,000 in costs.
And the 4.8 was like 337, so it would be like 6 then. Okay, got it.
3.34.
Yeah.
Right. But just remember, as was pointed out, I think, in this week's budget implication memo, you have, cost of service increases of $334,000 that goes to just operation, benefit, and salaries and benefits, plus you have an additional $76,000 in refuse charges. So all of that goes into the next year's budget mix in terms of having to be funded by the revenues available, of which under the 9% would be $621,000, under the 4.8% would be $334,000.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, to entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing and return to regular session. Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Price. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Gasko?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapijanus?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Thank you. That's the extent of my report. Moving on to reports and questions from trustees and working groups, starting with trustee Enderle.
Just the agenda.
Trustee Alpajanis.
Just the agenda.
Trustee Johnson.
Kudos for the group that cleaned leaves and plowed snow. They did a good job. They did a great job, I should say. Thanks. The streets look, at least, around my neighborhood look great. I haven't got a chance to go to the other side, but they did a nice job. And
Challenging conditions.
yeah, well, Saturday or Wednesday was all hands on deck with trucks and all kinds of stuff trying to clean what was out there, so.
Well, and I would just reemphasize that comment. Based on discussion on Tuesday, there was the foresight within the Public Works Department to identify that we were, saddled with a very untimely storm based on our schedule. We had hoped to be doing final leaf collection this week. And so the worst case scenario was having all those large piles on the street, and recognizing that they were calling for at that point 6 inches of snow. And the difficulty was this week it wasn't going to get warmer, and so we probably couldn't resume. And so the decision was made to collect as much of the street surface leaves as we can. It was done in a very timely and efficient basis. I mean, they got through basically Old Town for all intents and purposes in a day and a half, and was able to get through the vast majority, the balance of the community on Friday, and then turn everything over and go to snow event, which we had 3 12-hour shifts, I think, for the guys consecutively over Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you. Trustee Johnson, anything else? Okay, thank you. Trustee Yuska.
I have nothing.
Trustee Price.
I'll just bring up, I guess, Dickens Nuddy again. So for Village Hall, we've got 2 shifts, right?
Typically, yeah, between 6 to 7 and 7 to 8.
So, and I'm doing the 6 to 7. Sounds like we still don't have the second one, so anyway.
Yep, so the volunteers would be great.
Yeah, and then, is there other spots that you need village staff for?
No.
Or village trustees for? Okay.
We'll
talk to Mary Jo, right?
Anything else, trustee Price?
No.
Trustee Wilbrand? Thank you. All right, Joe, anything from the team?
Just a reminder, we will be putting out a revised Facebook post regarding yard waste. Unfortunately, Groot, based on the weather, made a call to suspend yard waste collection for last week, and we'll be completing all of what was this week as their last and final cleanup. So we apologize any inconvenience to the community, but the goal was, and they started early on Saturday, was to try and get as much of the refuse and recycling collected before the weather turned and the streets turned really bad.
Okay, anything else?
No.
I don't think we have any guests in the audience tonight. So moving on to the consent agenda, items A through D. I am going to read them aloud. Consent agenda item A, approval of bill list for $3.7 million, ratification of checks, $510.71, approval of minutes for the regular board meeting on November 3rd, 2025, and approval of the village board meeting schedule. Does anyone have any desire to remove any of the items from tonight's consent agenda? Seeing no changes suggested, I'd entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items A through D.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Johnson. Any additional discussion or comment?
I would just point out that this is a fairly large bill list, and it does include the TIF incentives for both Transwestern and Woodlands, and a couple of other smaller projects, which amounts for its significance.
Okay, thank you.
I saw that when I went through there, like, ooh, those hit.
Yeah,
Did you have a comment?
Oh, and bond payments?
okay. All right, thank you. Okay, we have a standing motion. Anything else from the board? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Eska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapagianis?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
All ayes, motion carries. Moving on to resolutions and ordinances. Item A, ordinance amending municipal code Title 7, Chapter 3 to restrict truck traffic on Sleepy Hollow Road and Tartans Drive between Huntley Road and Route 72/West Main Street. Trustee Eska.
This was tabled a few weeks ago because it only included Sleepy Hollow Road, and now we've added Tartans Drive to the ordinance, so, and it restricts the truck traffic and also hopefully reduces wear and tear on the roadways by doing so.
Makes sense. Comments or questions? Trustee Eska, you have the floor.
I move to approve an ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 3 of the Municipal Code to restrict truck traffic on Sleepy Hollow Road and Tartans Drive between Huntley Road and Route 72 West Main Street.
Motion.
Bless you.
Second.
Motion, thank you. Motion and a second by trustee Enderle. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Eska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapagianis?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Moving on to item B, resolution approving the village manager's employment agreement. That's under me. I did work with Manager Cavallero to incorporate the adjustments that the board had sought. And so before you tonight is the amended employment agreement for Manager Cavallero. Comments or questions?
Did you get my email?
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, the date on this, we are carrying on, where the heck did it go? The employment agreement manager, this employment agreement is on and entered into this day of November 2025. We need to change that.
Yeah,
Just-
we'll-
I just wanted to make sure somebody saw
Yeah,
it.
it'll be finalized with the adoption.
Okay.
Fair enough. Trustee Eska, yeah.
I move to approve a resolution authorizing an employment agreement between the Village of West Dundee and the village manager, Joseph Cavallero.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Price. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Eska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
No.
Trustee Lapagianis?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
No.
Trustee Wilbrand?
No.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
President Nelson?
Aye. 4 ayes, 3 nays, motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business, item A, professional services agreement, lead service line replacement phase 2. Trustee Eska.
Well, we've got new information that there are monies available because of,
Maybe.
maybe because of monies that were not used, allocated but not used to other municipalities. So that goes back into the pool, and if we strike quickly and file quickly again, we have a chance of getting some of those monies and would make life a lot easier for us. So in order to do that, we need to finalize this before the end of the year and get it in motion.
Comments or questions? Hearing none, trustee Eska.
I move to authorize a professional services agreement with Baxter and Woodman to complete Phase 2 engineering for the lead service line replacement Phase 2 project at a cost not to exceed $133,500.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Alpagianis. Any additional discussion or comment?
Will this reduce the number then, potentially, or is it
Number of what?
the number that, the surcharge number on the bill, or is it still the same amount?
We haven't had any conversation about surcharge, additional charges related to capital, no.
Okay. All right.
But I mean, it reduces our cost, so.
Yeah,
when it
that's what
comes
I meant.
time to talk about utility increases.
Yeah, it becomes $240,000 on a debt service basis over 30 years. That's the out-of-pocket that the village would have.
Okay, we have a standing motion. Madam Clerk?
Trustee Eska.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Lapijanis.
Aye.
Trustee Andalay.
Aye.
Trustee Woodburn.
Aye.
Trustee Price.
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item B, continued discussion of the 2025 tax levy. I guess I will open the floor. Okay. Please.
For my opinion, we need to do what, it's not actually 9% to you or me. The tax rate would be the same at 1.87. So we're not changing anything over the last 2 years, 3 years, right? We've held it at the 1.87, but because we're including new homes, new development, new businesses, we have the opportunity to secure more dollars through the tax levy to help fund a laundry list of items that we've got out there, and this would be avoid the challenges during the course of the year and get us on a strong path moving forward into the next year. So I would be in favor of the 9% holding our rate at 1.87.
I agree with trustee Eska. Same thing too. We're looking at building a new police station, and money's gonna have to come from the money tree that's not out there. So we have to figure something out. And I think, basically, I mean, we're not raising it, it's just staying the same. It would always be nice, obviously, to lower, but there's a lot of things that we wanna get done, and I think it's really important, especially with the police station, and Chief Green, I think might agree with this, is that if we want to attract qualified candidates who will stay with our village, we need to have this. I think this is no longer a want or a Band-Aid. It is something that we desperately need.
Any other comments or questions?
Per my comments, I do support beefing up the finance organization like we talked about. I don't think we need to go to the full 9. I was more in the 6 camp. I know that's not one of the options, but that's what kind of the math works. That would allow us to update and provide Linda the type of support that she's going to need to embark and be successful in this venture. The finance systems are antiquated and need some help, and we just have to make sure she's got the right people to support her. So I know it's not one of the options, but I'm more in the 6. I don't want to go all the way to, I don't think we need to go all the way to the 9. That's where my head is.
Okay, so we will be discussing this again in 2 weeks' time?
Correct.
If you have any questions, anything you need staff to research for you, please reach out to them. Joe, you don't need anything official from us on this, so
No,
we're going to
we'll
move on
prepare,
to
we'll prepare the ordinance based on the recommendation at 9%.
new business item A, authorization to purchase police pursuit mitigation system. Trustee Wilbrand.
Okay, from the police department, this is some Batman technology the chief is presenting for our squad cars due to the increased numbers of West Indies pursuit of stolen vehicles in our area by flock, and generally the nature of crime itself has risen with these kinds of cases. What this is essentially is a GPS tracker that can be shot from a squad car to a car that's in a pursuit, and when hazardous, the police can withdraw from said pursuit and continue to track electronically to make sure that we find the suspect at the end of it. So with that is some information about the finances in here. Chief put some offsetting dollars in here from other sources. Even though this is an unbudgeted item, this is something that internally is helping being paid for by some other sources of revenue.
Okay, comments or questions?
Cool technology, and I like the fact that, you know, reduces the need to, for pursuits. My only question really is sort of a safety thing. You know, it gets deployed, somebody makes a quick turn and misses the vehicle, and some other person's kind of, or a, you know, a pedestrian, say, is in the way. Like, what's the range on it, sort of the lethality to, you know, somebody that might get hit by one of these trackers?
Certified, I hate the term personally, but they call it less lethal, non-lethal. It gets, it's compressed air is what it gets fired
Shoots it,
with.
yeah.
And you have to be, 20 feet is about, like a car length or two is about the maximum distance. So by the time, you'd have to talk like, bicyclists would just happen to dart right in the middle of it in order for something like that to happen, because it comes out fast enough to stick to the back of the car, but it doesn't come out fast enough to damage the car, if that makes sense. So somewhere in between, it's a combination of a magnet and the best way I can describe it is, the things that kids use that you can throw it and it's sticky. It grabs a piece of paper or something and pulls it back. It's like that kind of material, that tacky, rubbery kind of material.
So is that deployability about 40 to 60 feet? So 2 car lengths?
Yeah, I'd say one car length really before it starts to dip.
Chief, who else uses these in our area or has? And if there are, who's had success with it?
The closest that I know of is South Barrington, like in our Quadcom group. Very successful. DuPage County is, I wouldn't say they're ahead of the game. I'd say that they're less behind the game than most of the rest of the state. And DuPage County has used them very effectively. And that's the beauty of it is we all agree the days of getting into police unless it's a pretty big deal. And even then, I always use the analogy that, is it a person that's wanted on a burglary warrant and it's 2 o'clock in the morning on 72 and there's no traffic and weather is perfect, or versus did Osama bin Laden get resurrected and he's driving through a school zone? Well, we're not going to chase him through a school zone, but the person at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we just always fall to that. If the inherent risks of the pursuit itself outweigh the need to apprehend the person right away, we won't pursue. The beautiful thing about this is we maintain that philosophy and let technology do the work for us, because it's very impressive to watch all this stuff, because I've been pretty involved with some of the DuPage stuff that they've been doing, the multi-jurisdictional things. To be able to deploy this and then immediately back off, especially if a helicopter request has already been put in, the information gets out to all these other agencies, and we've just seen in the last several months, exponential is probably not an exaggeration. The improvement that we've seen in the police communications from one jurisdiction to another, but certainly over the last year or two, it's been
it's so impressive to see how something could start in Hampshire. It'll be in our town within 5 minutes, and Elmhurst is making a traffic stop on the car 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, whatever the case may be. It's very impressive, but a huge component to that is being able to pinpoint, all right, I lost sight of them, not already a helicopter in the air, and if the information isn't already getting into all the other license plate readers throughout the area, they could get lost. If somebody's able to deploy this, you can back off and everybody's dialed into software, the mapping software, and can communicate, and it really helps too, where you can, the registered, the person that we think is driving the car, last known address at 123 Blue Street, and name your town, we can start kind of floating that way and watch the Star Chase icon. Looks like that's where they're going. It just really leads to so much more hands-off kind of apprehension.
This is link into your GPS that's in your car?
No, this has its own GPS-based program, and one of the things that still, like I said, it's still behind where it should be, but all the different jurisdictions that have gotten on board with the multi-jurisdictional collaboration aspect of things, we can tie in so well and communicate it so well, whereas just as recently as a couple of years ago, like I said, well, okay, I lost sight of them at 31 and 72, and we might hear of the vehicle getting recovered on the west side 3 days later, as opposed to, no, we're probably gonna, if we don't catch the people, they might get out and run, but we're gonna find the car within minutes, hours, tops, based on the GPS programs that everybody can tie into.
Chief, will this technology be compatible with the drone technology that we're working on at Quadcom? And there'll be a significant, non-manned element to it too, that technology will still hold if we get to that point with Quadcom in the next 5 years?
Yeah, and that's kind of the rub, and that's the frustrating thing for so many of us, because there's salesmanship and marketing that goes along with so much of these new things. One of the nice things is Star Chase isn't really new. I slow walked it personally in a prior life because I wanted to learn more about it. I wanted to see it, sustain itself and not just be the next, shiny new object that, starts collecting dust after a while. So I wouldn't be bringing it forward if I haven't seen it work over the years. But that's the biggest frustration is, the analogy I would use is, remember HD DVD versus Blu-ray. I know I'm dating myself just talking about that stuff right now, but it was Sony versus Toshiba or whoever it was. And instead of working together to make the perfect product, they were still in competition with one another. And one had to win out, Sony had to win out. That's kind of where we're at right now with drones. But I think they're finally realizing that the next step, if you don't have excellent resolution, if you don't have quick turnaround times with batteries and things like that, they're going to be out of business. So what we're all looking for is figure out a way to talk to each other. And that is more of a component now than it ever has been. And Star Chase does a good job of working with, because they don't really have a competitor. So they're fortunate where they can work with those other entities a little bit better than some.
And just recognize this is a one purchase for one of our 8 squad cars. So this is not something that's going to be deployed across the entire fleet at this point in time.
So, sort of pilot, if you will, I suppose.
Pardon me?
So kind of a pilot, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd outfit one of the new leased vehicles, and they're all in at the dealerships, I believe. that. So ideally, that's staffed 7 days a week during peak hours. So ideally, let's say if we got the license plate reader hit, that would be the first card to get deployed to go try to find the vehicle in question. So that makes the most sense to outfit that vehicle with this.
How
So
long
just
is any
real-
kind of training? How long does it take for training?
The training package is part of it, and it's a train the trainer thing. I don't know how long the actual course is. I don't know if it's all done in one day, or if there's like a classroom portion and then a hands-on practical portion. I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, I was just curious.
Back to the safety part, I guess. So has anybody ever been injured by getting hit by one of these
Not that I'm aware of.
projectiles? So it's like, and is it like sort of an air tag sized thing, or is it a lot smaller?
It's about that long, about that big around.
The tag is?
Yeah, it's the unit.
But I mean, the thing that lands on the vehicle that gets shot, is that?
That's probably, it's the same width and maybe about that long. The rest is stabilization tail
Yeah, okay.
and it's not designed to fall off. That just stays on there.
Yeah, got it.
And Trustee Price, I just want to add with the safety part is
Yeah.
IRMA, our risk management agency, is trying to do everything to basically, lessen police pursuits. They aren't like in tandem with this, but the actual cost of police pursuits for the actual pursuit of a squad after offender, they have been trying to keep those because of the tens of thousands of dollars potential in general liability for cars, but also personal injuries. It's one of the highest things. So having things like this are definitely heading, I think, in the right direction in terms of how that can affect the village and our insurance as well.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, there's, the risk of the device itself, but there's, got to consider the risk of not doing it. And so that definitely makes sense. I was just trying to understand if there are, what the risk might potentially be. So, yeah.
Trustee Yaska, did you?
I just had two quick things. If you miss the first time, how quickly can you get another shot off? And is wind a factor?
Last one first. Yes, wind, weather, that's all part of the training. Like I said, it has the stabilizer fin, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it. But certainly that could factor in, and even just as far as like right now, it would be less likely to adhere to the back of the car. It certainly isn't foolproof in that regard. I believe the one that we're looking at has two. So if you have a second chance if you miss one. I think that's fairly standard. I don't see the specifics on here, but I believe it's you get 1 second crack at it if you miss on the first try.
Just, if you miss, what happens to I'm gonna call it a cartridge for the way I'm looking at it. Do you go find it?
You can, but that's a nice thing as part of the subscription is unlimited replacements of
Okay.
the tags, the cartridges.
Okay.
So ideally, yes, you could pick it up, but since it's all cloud-based GPS
Right.
technology, it would be no different than like if you have a proximity card to get in and out of your office and you lose it, they can just deactivate it remotely, and it's a useless piece of plastic and steel.
You have to be 1 or 2 car lengths away to hit. That's the farthest you can be.
Okay, Trustee Will Grant, you have the floor.
With that, I'd make a motion to approve the purchase, shipping, and installation of one Star Chase Guardian VX vehicle-mounted GPS launcher system and 1 year subscription fee in the amount totaling $8,155.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Alapajanis. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Wilbrand? Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Yeska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapijanus?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
I'll go with one for now, yes.
All ayes, motion carries. Moving on to new business item B, authorization to purchase 2 dash-mounted radar units. Trustee Wilbrand.
All right. In your packet is the information about the purchase of 2 vehicle-mounted radar units. It is a Stalker DSR X2. This technology and this very apparatus has been around for 40-plus years. I don't want to say it's the gold standard, but it is what a majority of police vehicles that I've ever dealt with use for speed detection. West ND has been using it for a long time. We're updating our equipment, and this is for the purchase of 2 such units for our new cars.
Comments or questions? Trustee Wilbrand, you have the floor.
I would make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 Stalker DSR X2 radar units and related accessories in the amount totaling $3,457.98.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Johnson. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Huska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapijanus?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
Aye.
As motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Moving on to item C, emergency backup generator repair and rental at PSC 2. Trustee Eska.
Well, we have to take advantage of this opportunity.
Really?
Who is that guy? Well, there's been ongoing discussion about the generator, repair it, replace it, battery-powered garage door openers and all that stuff. So, based on the information we have, the diesel generator is still intact, no problem, operating. It's the part that generates the electrical power is what has failed. So when you break it all down, time-wise, and I forget how many weeks it is if we ordered a new one, and but half of it is still good, or the diesel is still good, and we don't expect that to fail because it is a top-of-the-line diesel. So the recommendation is to repair it and continue to pay for the temporary generator for a shorter period. Anything else, right?
Anything to add, Mike? No? Okay.
This is your chance.
There was a lot of effort that was put in between looking at the alternatives for repairs, for replacement, Generac, Caterpillar, whatever, Kohler, whatever we were having, and basically this came out to the best alternative and the most cost-effective was to repair the existing generator on site, which will give us at least another 10 years.
Thank you all for doing that work. Trustee Eska, you have the floor.
I move to authorize Public Works to conduct repairs to the permanent backup generator at PSC number 2 through Rush Power Systems at a cost of $48,496, and to continue rental of the temporary backup generator currently in place for a period of 14 weeks at a cost of $24,675.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Johnson. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Huska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapijanus?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Thank you.
And just to one other point, we were able to salvage an existing generator out of the mall. We are looking at potentially trying to retrofit that to a trailer mount system that'll give us some capabilities for emergency situations like we have routinely going on, or like we have at Public Safety 2, the potential Liberty Street lift station. There are a couple scenarios where we've had to rent pieces of equipment, but I think based on the salvage and part of next year's budget, you'll probably see some costs associated with retrofitting that to a more mobile generator that'll give us some capabilities around the community on a long-term basis.
It just has a smaller capacity, right?
Correct.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Anything else for the good of the order? Thank you, Mike. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Are we still on target for next Monday?
For, oh, the 8th, yes. For the account, the architectural firms, yes. 6 o'clock.
What's that?
The architectural firm interviews, 6 o'clock,
That's the whole board.
yes. Well, it'll be a committee of the whole. The only agenda item will be the architectural committee interviews, one at 6 and one at 7.
Okay. All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second by trustee Alpagianis. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Jody, we talk about this first?